my favorites. These are Black Magic roses, and there's such a big request. It's probably one of the most popular choices in weddings today is the red, and what we're going to do today is show you how to make a bouquet. In making a bouquet, I usually do anywhere from 18 to 24 roses. And since these are local, you'll see that there's a big difference in the size of blossom when putting these together. So I'm just going to choose the center of the bouquet that you would be, if you were a bride, you would be looking at. The idea is to get a dome from the beginning. And once you have your dome set, then you can go and continue around the dome so that you get this nice shape. Kind of works like a puzzle where you fit it together and you continue to swivel it as you go. And you can just adjust it little by little. It doesn't have to be perfect right away, because when you get towards the outer rim of it, you'll have more control because it will be tighter. I don't know if you can see on that side, but this side is lighter than this side, so I would probably compress a few more flowers on this side before I continue to move on. You just keep on swiveling. And the more flowers you add, you want to bring your hand down a little more so that you don't crack and break the stem. Domestic roses are a lot more delicate than the imported. The stems are skinnier, the heads are lighter, so the chances of them snapping are a lot greater, so you have to really be careful as you're putting them together. As I'm going on the outer rim, the inside sticks together more, and you have a lot more control over the size and the shape of it. So you can stop at any time when you feel that you've gotten the right size of bouquet for yourself. But traditionally, I put 18 to 24, and that's a pretty nice size bouquet. You see any holes around as you pull it down, because you're actually going to be holding it down here. You want to fill them in, like this part. This is kind of an empty position, so I'm going to go ahead and add more. If you pick your flowers, every other one, to be open and closed, you'll create a really nice look. I always look at the top to see if I got a really nice, good round shape. Now there's an empty spot. I don't know if you can see, but I see an empty spot here. These rubber bands are clear. They're not supposed to break, but they've broken on me before. But they stretch out really well, and they wrap around without choking the stems, because on your wedding day, you don't want your flowers wilting and dying because they can't get any water through their stems, and they're choking because they have too much tape on them or constraint around the neck. So anyway, I cut them just so I can get my rubber band around. Put them down. First one's always the hardest. After that, it becomes easier. And you put as many as you want just to feel comfortable, but I usually put 3 to 5. With these rubber bands is some flowers, not just roses, but well, roses don't do this, but some flowers will actually grow overnight. Tulips, a lot of the bulb flowers. So you want to be able to have the binding as loose as possible, so that you can maneuver these little blossoms to keep the shape the next day. So if you were going to do this by yourself, or you had a friend or one of your wonderful family members doing this for you, you would want to be able to change it up just a little bit. So this, I had reshaped most of it, except for this right here. You push these down without hurting the stem or stripping or doing anything that's damaging. to your flowers, because it's already traumatic enough to have flowers out of water. Ta-da. So we have a nice shape there. And depending on what you prefer, you can have them, this is kind of something on the long side for me. I always like to cut them down at this point. A good pair of pruning shears is a wonderful tool because you can use these for the nice thick hardy wooden stems or something like this. So now that we have our bouquet, we can go ahead and move on to binding them. This is just going to be a simple wrap, so what I do is just cut a piece and I start from the bottom. An 1.5 or a 2-inch ribbon is probably the best choice in wrapping a bouquet, because anything skinnier than that you'll be wrapping forever. So we just go ahead and just wrap it around. It's really simple. Once you get the rubber bands on, everything else is just a piece of cake and you can zip right through it. Just go ahead and twist. It's easier to work with wired ribbon than it is to work with non-wired ribbon to do things like this. So it'll hold itself, and I'll just use a push pin and I'll just stick it in. Make sure you don't poke yourself. I've done it many times. I poke myself. I have a lot of scars. Like I'm doing this too quick and ow! There we go. So this will just hold it down, and it's really cute. It's a nice finish. And with this could be left like this, or when you turn it around to the front, it's just the markings, that's all. It looks really nice, see? And there you got your bouquet.